Hey guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. Today I'm at Mercedes Benz of Shreveport, and this is the 2020 model of the Mercedes Benz GLE 350. Now you might have noticed in the title of this video that it said 2020/2021. Well, this particular model was redesigned for the 2020 model year, so obviously for 2021 we're not going to see any significant changes. So everything we look at today is what you'll get for the 2021 model year, or if maybe you choose to pick up a 2020 model, it'll be the same thing. This is obviously a very clean looking vehicle, and tell me what color you like. I really am impressed with the color on the exterior of this particular model. Of course, you have the AMG diamond block grille that really sets the front end of this GLE 350 off. Of course, LED headlights going to give you plenty of light after dark. You even have the lit Mercedes-Benz logo here in the middle, and that sets it off as well. I like that feature a lot, and while this is not the most powerful version of the GLE 350, maybe we can get our hands on one sometime in the near future because it's not hurting for horsepower. Hint, hint. To those who are making decisions on what comes to the dealership here, that would be fun. But one thing you will find is there are some AMG features on this particular model. And while the most powerful engine is not under the hood, let's talk about what is. Under the hood of today's model is the inline 2-liter 4-cylinder. It is turbocharged and it puts out 255 horsepower and 273 foot-pounds of torque. And believe it or not, it's very nimble and very quick. One thing about the GLE 350 is whether it's an AMG model or not, it definitely handles very well for the size of SUV that it is. This engine combination is mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and there are multiple driving modes. We'll talk about that when we hop into the interior shortly. And the gas mileage is estimated at 20 miles per gallon in the city and 27 out on the highway. Now, as we work our way to the side of the exterior, of course, this is cardinal red metallic. That's what this exterior color is called, and I have to say I'm very impressed. It's a nice deep red color. And like I said, there are some AMG features on this model of GLE, and that includes the 20-inch 5-spoke AMG wheels, which when you look at that combination, it really sets off the color with the combination of the design of the wheels. Very nice. Of course, you've got the chrome trimmed windows and the chrome roof rails here. Your deep tinted rear windows here for the doors and the rear windows back here as well. And of course, a lot of safety features. I don't want to try and remember all of those, so I'm going to list them on the screen for you. Feel free to pause the video to peruse all of those features because there are a lot of them. So let's talk about features as far as towing capacity and payload, and I'll put the numbers on the screen as far as your maximum cargo space goes, which is going to vary, of course, depending on what you do with the rear seats. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. The maximum towing capacity of the GLE 350 is rather impressive at 7,700 pounds. This particular model does come with a trailer hitch, so you're definitely not going to be hurting for the ability to tow some weight if you need to, depending on what your situation is. You do have a hands-free tailgate back here, but don't go looking for your motion sensor in the center. It's actually on the left-hand side when you're facing the vehicle, kind of in the midpoint between the trailer hitch and the end of the bumper. And so all you're going to do, of course, is just, well, let's see if we can get that to work. Make sure I do it right. There we go. I don't do this every single day, so sometimes I don't get that right the first time, but that is where you will find the motion sensor for the hands-free tailgate, whether you're opening and or closing. Of course, you do have a full-size spare tire. That's always nice to have. And a lot of room back here, a little cargo area to the side with a net to keep anything safe over there that you may put in there, hooks for your grocery bags and some tie-downs. And you can lower the rear seats a couple of different ways. It's a 60-40 split. split, but you can do more than work with just the 60-40 split. And what I mean by that is you can lower the 60-40 split, 60 or 40, or if you want to use the middle row seat here in the back seat as a pass-through, you can just lower that by itself. Of course, there is another option besides just the motion sensor under here for closing this lift gate. Two buttons here on the top, one for just lowering the gate and another that has a lock on it that allows you to close and lock the interior at the same time. So now that I'm sitting here in the back seat, let me make sure I'm sitting straight up. I have a nice amount of headroom. I'd be very comfortable back here. Of course, the seat's somewhat far forward, but still, there is a lot of room back here. Of course, you have the natural grain brown walnut trim that's not only here on the rear doors, but throughout the front seat as well. A nice, elegant look to that. And the seats are nice and comfortable. You have a couple of cup holders here if you need them, and an armrest as well. USB ports, there's a reasonable amount of storage back here, nice large pockets in your doors, the door bins where you could put a bottle or whatever you want to put in there that will fit. Of course, you have USB ports and a little bit more storage here. You can open this little area up right here, a little storage there, whatever you can fit in there would work. And dual air conditioning vents. Now, you don't have a panoramic sunroof here, but this vehicle does come with a conventional size sunroof. Okay guys, let's take a quick tour here of the front seat, and one thing that you're definitely going to notice is that it looks nice up here. A lot of nice bells and whistles and features, plenty of air conditioning vents, and on a day when it's in the 90s here in Northwest Louisiana, it's great to have ventilated seats. Driver and passenger, they're both power, and they're heated as well. Obviously, we don't need that as often here in the South as you might in the North, but there are times when it does get cool enough to use those heated seats, but that probably won't be anytime soon for any of us. Of course, you have the seat adjustments, seat memory, everything you would expect here, controls for your headlights. And I like the design of the steering wheel. It does have steering wheel mounted paddle shifters and your classic steering wheel mounted controls. And you can run through a lot of features here on the center, or I should say the instrument cluster here, and a lot of different things depending on what you want to do. You can change the radio station, you can go to services if you need to. Designs and display is something I want to take a quick look at, and you can change the look of the instrument cluster with this. As you can see on your screen, you have classic, you have sport, you have progressive, understated, and then standard displays depending on what you want. And of course, that is all controlled on the left hand side of the steering wheel with a little touchpad there. You can go home, you can go back, you can even go through several different settings on each side of the instrument cluster, whether you're changing the look or what you got going on with the tachometer on the right hand side or the speedometer on the left hand side. And of course, you have the MBUX system, which is one of the most incredible features you're going to find on any vehicle today. This is really the top of the line of technology for this particular time right now. And it's really nice because you can do so many different things. You can run through a lot of information, change a lot of things, change the settings, change the lighting, the ambient lighting here in the interior, and there's 64 different colors available and a lot of different features and functionality and ways you can use that. Of course, you can pair your phone and all those simple little things there. You can even change how the vehicle reacts, whether it's steering or damping, which if you don't know what that means, the damping is the shocks and the suspension, the ride quality, basically. And how the engine works. And even though the engine isn't the most powerful, it is a very potent vehicle. Driving in my test drive earlier, I enjoyed the cornering and maneuverability and just the overall way the engine reacted. It actually is very peppy. It has a reasonable amount of torque, So that means it's going to get down the road quickly. It's fast, it's powerful, and you do notice that kind of torquiness with it. And I tried a few different modes while I was driving, and each one was good. Of course, if you're looking for a good, comfortable ride, of course, comfort is going to be the best for you. But you also have dynamic select, which is what I was just talking about, where you can make changes to a multitude of features and functions here in the GLE 350. Now, one thing that I do want to point out here, if you're not aware, is that you can talk to Mercedes. I better not say it too loud, or this might happen. Here's just an example. Hey, Mercedes.
How can I help?
Where is the closest Mexican restaurant?
Here is what I found. Which one do you mean? What do you want to do?
And of course, that is just one of the many commands you can give. I'm going to try and find a list of commands. There probably is one somewhere, and I'll try and list it down in the description of this video for you to see what all of those are. Of course, you have a lot of great features, like I said, you can run through here on the MBUX screen that, by the way, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos featuring the MBUX system, a lot of you told me in previous videos earlier this year with Mercedes vehicles that you wanted a touchscreen. Now you have it available with the MBUX. And you have a few different ways you can control that. There's a pad on the right-hand side of the steering wheel that allows you to control that center screen on the right-hand side and in the center of the dashboard. You can also use the touch screen itself, and there is the touch pad down here that allows you to do so kind of the way it was done with previous generations. And I've had a few people ask, what is that behind the touch pad? It looks almost like a shifter of some sort. That's actually just a place to rest your wrist so you can have an easier time maneuvering around on the screen using that touchpad. Of course, you have several different features and buttons here that you can push that will just take you right to whatever it is you want on the screen, whether it's changing a whole lot of different things about your vehicle, whether it's assistance vehicle, light, system, whatever the case may be. There's a lot there. You can do a lot of different things and change a lot of different features. And before I forget, one thing I forgot to mention while we were still sitting in the front seat is that you do have push button start. Of course, you do have a very nice looking remote for locking, unlocking. You have a panic button, and of course you can open and or close the power lift gate if you want to. And with the push button start that's located on the interior, on the right-hand side, I think it is, of that I'll show you on the screen, is the button to turn the auto stop start feature off. Something I definitely like to turn off. That way when I come to a complete stop in the GLE 350, the engine keeps running. But you may have a different preference. Make sure to tell me down in the comments about that, because some of you might have some interesting ideas and observations as to how that could be very useful. I'm interested to hear your comments. So tell me what you think about the GLE 350. Again, I like hearing your feedback and comments. And what else would you like to see me review here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel? Tell me, and I will do everything I can to make that happen for you. I'd like to thank my friends here at Mercedes Benz of Shreveport for loaning me the GLE 350 for the day. Definitely a great vehicle, a lot of fun to drive. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.